and today we are with many things as usual, discussing Who Are You with Mr. Okwemi, who has a lot to say about this topic, and I hope that you guys will get informed as we are yet to get informed, me and Richard. And I'll leave him to say a few words and then pass it over to Richard to actually introduce himself. How are you doing, bro?
I'm very fine. I'm very much fine. How are you? How are you, Richard? It's much of a pleasure to be here. Okay. I'm kind of feeling a bit nervous because the topic is a bit heavy. So I'm trying to create my landing space. Because, yeah, of course, the topic of who are you, I think it touches a lot of core values of who we are as people. And if we want to know where we are going, the first step of you have to know who you are. And then, in fact, if we had to look at it from a religious perspective or a Christian perspective, whenever God wants to deal with people, he usually changes their name. All right, because he wants to deal with if you were Jacob, he says, no, now your name is Israel. So there is something that is there attached to identity, and we are going to explore, into deeper.
That's really profound. Mr. Richard, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing? It's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
Feels like it's been ages, huh?
Yeah, we're taking a week, right? We record every week.
It's every Saturday.
So as per usual, Mr. Okwemi, we do a weekly check-in. How you've been, how your week was, what your mind was at, and so how's been your week? I think we'll start with you because you're the most important person.
If you want. I think looking at it, my week has been, it has been awesome. A few ups and a few downs, and then there are days where you are on a low, like on the battery low, but those we call them character building days. When your character is being tested, when you are having a few challenges, when you're sorting out every problem, because it's said with every problem that you clear, becomes you create another problem. So you find that someone might be saying, no, I'm barren. Being barren is a problem. But having kids as well is a problem. So for every problem that we have is you solve a problem, another one pops up. That's just the nature of life.
How's been your week, bro?
As per usual, I think this week has been eventful. The street journalism. Yesterday was great, actually. I think people we spoke to, I think they gave us a perspective of the topic that we're having today, and it sort of opened my mind. And then I think before that, I had activities, and my week was great. How was yours?
It was. I didn't pay much attention to this week, honestly. I've been very oblivious towards it. But I had bad news yesterday. I lost a guy who I knew, and it's sad because I've been trying to fathom his death, and I'm still in disbelief right now. But as you said, I learned a lot too from the entirety of the street journalism that we had on Saturday, which was yesterday, because it was mind-broadening. Mr. Okwemi.
Yes, sir.
So, the elephant in the room is, who are you? And if you ask me, really, this question brings a lot of diversity in it because people sometimes wonder what exactly you are referring to. You know what I mean? Is it who I am outside of my law school career? Is it who I am outside of my health career? Is it who I am outside my marriage, my relationship, and all these many other things? So what is really who you are? Like, where is your character really?
All right. I think from the time that Richard brought up the topic, I remember when he mentioned, okay, this Sunday we're going to be discussing who are you. So when I looked at the topic, I was very intrigued because I could look at it from, okay, who are you as a man? Right? Men with pure intention, but who are you as a man? And then we look at it and say, okay, who are you as an African? Right? And who are you as a human being in general? Like you said, is it a person that I am outside the law school? But you discover that wherever space that you're occupying, you're carrying a certain you into that space. So who are you as a lawyer? Right? Because when the curtain is closed, they say usually people wear a face, right?
Yeah,
a face mask or something. Yeah, we're like crowns.
Yeah.
And then when the curtain goes down, then we come back to default setting.
Mm-hmm.
So the real person that you are is when the lights are off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When there is no one watching.
Yeah.
Because most of the battles are actually won behind the scenes. All right? Who we take out into the battlefield is what we have been building prior to that.
Yeah.
So a character that has been built in-house, when it's taken out there, it won't break.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
I think we are looking at an instance whereby our society has given us a bit of where we treasure, can I say, a weak-minded society where on a mental space, people want to be babied a bit, right? But because you discover that if you know who you are, I like the term which says we are heads, all right? And then I thought of it of, okay, we are heads. Okay, what does it mean when someone says you are a head?
Yeah.
Right? Because let's break down just the anatomy of the head. That's where the ears are.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
That's where the brain is. All right? That's where the eyes are.
Yeah.
All right? You do this. Actually, all the 5 senses can be done from where? From the head. So now, as interesting as it may be, when you say, I am the head of the house, you know, men usually say, I'm the head of the house, right?
Yes.
So the head, actually, this is a figure of speech, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see that I'm going, if I have eyes, and eyes should be able to give me sight.
Yeah.
And with sight comes with vision, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have
point,
if you have vision as a head, as you have vision as a person, then your future is in light.
Okay. So you have mind bogged me a little, right? Because now I'm thinking about a lot of things because you brought in so many profound things. It's hard for me to fathom them all together. Right now, I want you to narrow it down really. Who is Okwemi?
All right. So if you bring it down to me, who is Okwemi?
Yeah.
All right. I like saying Okwemi is half man, half amazing.
Half man,
Okay.
That's
half man, half amazing.
Yeah.
Half man, half amazing. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Half man, half amazing. When it comes to who I am as a man.
Yeah.
All right. That's where who is Okwemi as a man. Right. Because what makes me as a man is not wearing a trousers. Right.
Yeah.
It's not having having children. You know.
Yeah.
One man said. Having children does not make you a man.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. Dogs do a better job, actually.
Yeah.
Because in one round, the dog can give you, 5 puppies. All right? Yeah. Whereas Richard, on his best day, it's only 1. Or maybe 2.
Yeah.
3 if...
It's working really hard.
Nah, if he's putting in extra. So, what makes you as a person... number one, it comes from the things that you believe in, right? Yeah. The things that you decide to live for. Because someone says reasons to live,
reasons to die.
Reason to die. I saw that in the movie somewhere. Yeah. So I think if you have, they say you cannot kill a dead person.
Okay.
All right. And they say the moment you start living is the moment that you decide first to find something that you can die for.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You haven't yet started living if you have nothing that you can die for, right? Yeah, because you cannot kill a dead person, right? Yeah. It's only those that have life that are afraid to die. But if I've reached a stage where I know where I am, I'm not afraid of death, then I have started living. Yeah. That's the whole perspective of life. So who is Okwemi? So Okwemi is generally the things that I believe in, all right?
Okay, so that's where you possibly get your identity from.
Yes.
All right, so poet I can see because you're really very in your speech. But now let's consider somebody out there who perhaps does not understand just not understand like these this philosophical term, right?
Right.
And is looking to just know like where do you get your identity from? Is it from? Okay, maybe let me ask you this: where do you get your identity from?
And your question, I just say those we're talking about something I think with Richard behind the scene.
All right.
And we touched a bit about the Lusaka July.
Oh, it was
right.
Lusaka July.
Yeah, so there's a bit of identity issues that have actually springed out of that, right? Others have said, how come this has turned into a homosexuality kind of an event,
okay.
Right? And then I was telling Richard that actually what we have seen spring out from there is this is what people have been, right? And this is what people have been faithful. And what you have seen is just what is it's like now an expression.
A real list of what has been.
What has been. So at the end of the day, a person is what they take in. All right? It's a simple rule of garbage in, garbage out.
Okay. So
if you want to build a character, okay, I know you have something there.
Yeah, I just want to ask, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel like our identity precedes our gender?
Our identity precedes our gender.
Yeah. Do you feel like who Ukweme is precedes him being a man?
And I think it starts.
Or you feel like where you are starts from your manhood.
Because as a little kid, maybe you are 10 years, right? And then you discover you see this girl, and then for the first time you say, I like that girl.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. All right. First time you have identified yourself as who? As a man.
Yeah.
Because naturally, that's your natural instinct. I like that girl. Even if you're not gonna do anything with that girl,
yeah. So does that make you who you are?
So that's where your identity starts from.
Okay.
Right?
That's dope, huh?
Yeah. So your identity starts from when you identify yourself. Because if you look at me and you're not seeing me as a man, first you have to see me as a man. All right. You cannot miss my manliness and then try to because my physical, my spiritual are all entwined. All right. Who I am physically will transform to who I am on a spiritual basis.
Okay.
So right, if you want to interact with Ukweme, you first interact with him as a man. When I said, who is Ukweme? I'm half man. I'm amazing.
Great. Okay, that's really profound, bro. It's really great. And like I said, I mean, you know your stuff, right? You know this stuff. Who are you? Who are you on the other side? What are you?
I've been quiet. I've been listening in. This topic is a scary topic, as I said, because I want to say 90% of the population doesn't know their identity. We are living. I said we because I think I'm also in that category. We're living a life without identity, and without identity, there's no purpose. Yeah. It's a scary topic because the moment it was chosen, I started thinking through my life and thinking about myself as an individual.
Yeah.
What's my purpose and who am I? I don't know. And it got me to a point where I started thinking, do we really get to a point where we discover who we are, or it's a journey? It's an ongoing journey of us identifying ourselves as a person or discovering our niche in society. Because at this point, I don't know who I am, and maybe MWPI could be a link
to help you
identify because I don't think school, because I think most of us, the first question when you're asked who you are, maybe you want to link it to your career, as you say. I'm a medical student at CBU, but is that my identity? I think identity is beyond career.
And so that's like you and I have a similar answer, and I think I mentioned this off camera. I feel like the question of who you are usually goes to your accomplishment, right? So there's this rush about wanting to say I'm the guy who sits on that podcast with Richard. I'm the guy who wrote a book, right? I'm a guy who's smart. I'm a guy who does all this stuff. I'm a lawyer and stuff like that. But then, to be human, I feel like to just be defined by these basic things, and I feel like this is. I started thinking, right? Yesterday I was thinking like, okay, why is it hard for us to identify who we are, right? And you see that it's so amazing to be human because you always want something greater out of life than just what has been offered to you.
Yeah.
And on a normal day, you just couldn't pick being a health worker, right? You want to define yourself beyond just that sphere. And so I too does not know who I am yet, right? I say yet because obviously, like Richard said, I hope that Mr. Okwemi, as we have this conversation, might just lead to me knowing who I am. But I'll call the man that we spoke to yesterday. His name is Mr. Mwamba. When we spoke to Mr. Mwamba should be, I think, in his late 40s or early 50s.
Yeah. Early 50s.
Early 50s, yeah. And he said something really profound, right? He said, when you detach from the masses and you start to live as you. And so when you start to live as you, you don't live like everybody else is living. Right? And for me, when I took that away, I realized that that's where you find you, right? How do you find you? You find you by simply knowing if you're living on your path. Like, are you doing what everybody else is doing? Is what's around you affecting you? Because remember, we are defined by our environment. We're products of environment, right? Yeah. But then in the same environments where we're products of, we've seen people triumph over the bar set for them. A good example is I'm from Chambali, and then I lived in Chambali and I lived in Chifo, and these are both very violent places, right? But I'm not very violent. I don't know your story, but I like to believe that you've broken barriers of what was set for you. So when you live as that, is that who you are? You get what I mean? And that's the hardest thing about it. But what Mr. Mama said was really great. But yeah, let's get into Red, Mr. Okwemi. What do you think makes a man? What is a man made by?
It's now getting deeper. All right, interesting question. What makes a man?
Yes, please.
All right. I think there's a quote. As a man thinketh, so he is. So Proverbs. Yeah. So what makes a man? Like, I think even in the start I said wearing a trouser does not make you a man. Yeah. Your reproduction skills do not make you a man. There are actually other mammals that can do a better job than a regular human being. But I think what makes a man, the first thing that has to be there in the core values of a man is responsibility. All right?
Okay.
Because we are not just born responsible.
Yes.
Right? Responsible is one of the traits that you have to develop as a man and as to succeed as a man. And to be relevant as a man, you have to be responsible. And even to gain good wins, you have to be responsible. Because they say, oh, the world loves a winner. But you cannot be a winner if you're an irresponsible winner. Right? So that is one of the core values that the man has to have. He has to have. And if you have to say that you have to be a head, all right? As we are saying, usually we tend to say, I am the head of the house. Or as in religious places, they will tell you, we are heads. Like, even going back to one of the things that we had actually already spoken, I think you should be able to provide leadership. All right?
Leadership
yes.
Does help you.
Yeah.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, because you, not just, sometimes we think, they say the
What's amazing is Richard's face.
Alright? They usually say the best leaders lead from behind, right?
Yeah.
So most of the time we think of leading as leading people, but before you have the ability to lead people, can you lead your own life? Alright? Right? Yeah. You should, because even your personal life as a man, you should have goals. All right.
Yeah.
I used to have a very funny quote at work. I used to say, it's illegal for a man to marry if he does not possess certain things. So I say, man must have land, a man must drive before he marries. And crazy enough, Mapoka says, a man must have 2 wives, right? And the other wife, he says, the opposite, as the first wife has to be land, because you cannot make a woman pregnant if you have failed to make land pregnant. Now, that does not just mean that we have to tend to doing agriculture. No, it means that you have to provide. Before God granted Eve, there was Eden for Adam to take care of. There was responsibility, all right? Adam was given the responsibility of the garden. He had to man the garden. He had the responsibility to name each and every species. He showed responsibility. Then Eve came. So that's where it comes. Before you as a man, you go looking for a lead, all right? Before you go looking for Eve, make sure that you have prepared Eden.
So what if I am a guy from Shangongo with very little on my plate? Am I still a man, or maybe I am not a man if I can't provide? And is responsibility only affiliated with finances?
No. The topic of responsibility is from I think I'm being forced to go back on the good Bible.
No, it's
right?
okay.
It's all right.
Yeah, don't worry. Oh, I think you've seen us not reference the Bible.
No. Because of we might have a diverse kind of.
No. But then we spoke about who you are, identity, and Christian is what you're watching into.
That's the person that you are.
Right. So that's one of the most important things. And so use the Bible, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think. When it comes to responsibility, even the good black book says, he that is, you said if you're from Shangombo and you have little, does that make you less of a man?
Yeah.
Scripture says, he that is more, like he that can be trusted with less, can be given more to look after. Right? So you have to show responsibility doesn't come when you have a lot of things, right? Responsibilities come when you have little to manage, right? Yeah. How are you managing yourself in a little space, right? Yeah. It doesn't mean that you have to strive out to become who you are not. Then we'll be losing yourself, right? Because Richard is Richard, I am me, right? If I try to be like Richard, I'm depriving Richard the experience of having an experience of who I am, right?
That's great.
All right. So in that space. I should be able to, as a man, all right? I should be able to take care of what has been given to me, all right? Looking at different people have different starting out points, all right? But there are certain core values, there are certain rules, all right? The law of gravity is the law of gravity. So there are certain rules that have to stay there, whether you are starting out on 100 or starting out from 0. And then responsibility is one of the key factors that you should have as a human being. All right? That is responsibility in the little affairs that you have, responsibility over your own life, and responsibility comes with another aspect of discipline. All right? Because you have to be disciplined in all the matters. I think the good black book says, whatever you find, you do it with such,
so much diligence.
Yes. So
heartily and diligent.
Heartily and diligent, and all those things they border back to responsibility. All right?
That's great.
You know what I'm saying? Even Adam could not get Eve if he wasn't responsible enough to look after those animals that were flying around in the garden. If he couldn't water the garden, how should he be able to provide? Another man says, no, I think I saw a quote where he said, sometimes being a man is not sleeping with a woman, but being a man is being able to provide the perfumes and the soap that she wash herself so it smells good the following morning. So you should be able to.
What's her smelling good? Long good to smell her.
So this is almost turning into a personal lecture you get.
Yeah.
I think just today in the morning, I think I was telling you about. So I started writing in a book about my daily struggles. It's like a diary. And diaries sound gay. We're talking about toxic masculinity, but it's a diary. We'll move there. So one of the things I highlighted in my book was my lack of commitment and discipline, responsibility as well. You get one of the things that has been brought up is you need to be responsible as a man. You get what makes you a man? Responsibility. I highlighted something in my book. So I was talking about how much responsibility was bearing down on me and my ability to function. So I was talking about my lack of commitment and discipline. Okay, so when I set goals, I usually default. So when I start doing something, at some point I lose focus and then I just deviate. Yeah, and then one of the things that has been brought up here is I think I used to follow Miles Monroe. Yeah, some of his
that's the only guy Richard quotes, by the way.
Yeah. Like, in his death is still my mentor. Yeah, because the aspect of Adam being given responsibility, he highlighted that and he talked about his ability to teach. Because he said Eve wasn't given the instructions. The instructions were given to Adam. It was Adam's responsibility to teach Eve. It was Adam's ability to protect. Yeah. So today, as modern day men, millennials, how do we identify, when it comes to manhood? I'm sure I may not be the only one that's struggling with discipline and responsibility. We are a lot.
Yeah.
But Men with Pure Intention is a platform where you get to learn. So I'm here having a personal lecture about identity and responsibility. So who do you identify as?
As a man?
I don't know. What do you identify as? Do you have pronouns?
No pronouns. No pronouns. It's really hard too, right? Because what makes a man, like you guys have postulated earlier, it's beyond your sexuality.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me personally, what makes a man is what he can do with what's accorded unto him.
Yeah.
And get what I mean? So being a man is beyond just I can provide for you, right? It's what can I do with this provision? Because it's one thing to provide, and it's one thing for people you provide for to feel like you're doing them a favor.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we've seen this toxic trait that we have. It's I asked this question deliberately because I've seen how we misuse our manhood for superiority.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So it's I provide for you, right? I'm the man. I'm the head of the house. You can't tell me nothing until I say it. When I speak, you listen, and this kind of stuff. And so I feel like what really makes a man for me is his ability, first of all, to protect, right? How is my ability to protect what is with me? The women, the kids, the society itself. You get what I mean?
The environment.
The environment, yeah. So my ability to protect, that's one of the major things that make me as a man. Because from where I'm from, I've seen that one of the things you learn growing up is to take care of your siblings. You take care of your mother, and we hear this Bemba proverb that talks about my own papa and kaka papa. You get what I mean? It's one day your parents instill this responsibility in you that comes with you every time as you grow. So you know that I'm growing to become older so I can live a certain type of way. And so I feel like that really is what makes you a man. It's your ability to protect. And again, I feel like what makes a man is also the ability to identify other men. You get what I mean? Because it's one thing to be a man and be arrogant, but it's another thing to be a man and identify that she's a woman and I have to respect her. I have to treat her the right way. So to be a man is to identify the next man. And by the next man as a word is a word that encompasses both male and female. Yeah. So to be a man basically is to identify this is Richard and he deserves love. He deserves care. He deserves kindness. Regardless of how I may be, I owe this things to this person and I have to treat them the right way. And I feel like really that's really where we are, right? Because for a long time now, I feel like I get my answer from the fact that for a long time now, the world has had this Cold War about what love is. Every day that we fight, the solution to everything I feel is like love, right? The violence, the war, the crime, the abuse. Every single difficulty we probably face is compounded onto love. And so if a man learns how to love, he becomes a man.
Yeah.
So what makes a man's ability to love as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think just driving from the point that you're expressing over the ability of men to, to protect and love, and to identify other human beings as being human as well, and these people deserve love. And I think a thought just struck me right there as you were saying, and I thought maybe the reason why God did not create Eve separately, go to the ground and just create Eve but decided to pick a piece of Adam was to show him that the love that you give yourself, all right? This is like, when Adam says, this is flesh of my flesh, right?
Bone of my bone.
Bone of my bone, all right? She's an extension
of me.
Yeah, she's an extension.
Basically.
She's me. So the love that I give me, I should give
her. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's really
I should be able to know, and she shouldn't be inferior or superior, all right? Because she's me. I cannot say today, wake up and say I'm superior to Queen. All right? You have that levels down because she's created from you.
Have you identified one that's made out of you?
You have something to say. The extension of me.
Found her,
as of now, I'm still on the look.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still on the look. The extension of me. When I finally see her, I'll be like, I'll be fresh on my fresh.
If you're out there,
we have a man. You guys, if you feel like use his extension, feel free to. We'll probably put his social media handle somewhere so you guys can get together. On the other side of you, find your extension.
So here's the thing. I haven't found one yet, but here's the thing. From this discussion we've had so far, I think we started with the question: Who are you as a human being? And some of the things that have been spoken about. What do you believe in?
Yeah.
Okay. In what space are you most relevant? Okay? Where do you find fulfillment? So where you find fulfillment, what do you believe in? Makes you a human being.
Well, you get your identity.
I think most of us are living with an identity crisis because we're living lives of other people. Maybe you want to be a Jordan when you're Cristiano Ronaldo. So what you believe in, where you find relevance, identify you as a human being, and then who are you as a man? So who are you as a man? We've talked about leadership. Your ability to lead. Are you able to lead? And then leadership, as you put it, also Masman said, you lead with your life. So if your life is in disarray,
shambles,
you don't expect to lead another human being or human being. So it starts with yourself. What can you do as a man in your life? Is your life in order? Thomas Shelby said, just like an ordinary man, I'm putting my affairs in order. It starts with your affairs, your affairs in order. So leadership first. Then you should be able to protect as a man. So whatever is given unto you, you need to tend for it and protect it, nurse it. So all these things are aspects of manhood that we're supposed to identify before we answer the question, who are you? So all those questions are
leading back to who you are.
Who you are as a person.
So these are steps that we've been discussing, and then when you look at them, it's hitting home, because I think most of us, you look at your life first, and then you look at your life. Is your life in order? Is there discipline? Are there goals? So before I find that extension, I'm still trying to put my affairs in order. But on my path to putting my affairs in order, I'm sure she would understand that this is a trial, man. And that's what many of your intentions are about. We need to strive to be better. I think this is a topic that would need a series. Okay. It's a topic that we need a series. I think we can discuss this topic under one session, where we need to do this over a longer period.
What are your closing words? What would you tell somebody out there who wants to identify who they are?
I think the ability to find yourself or to identify who you are. It's like this topic, right? It's like you've been given a plastic full of puzzle pieces, and you have to put them together.
Yeah.
So so you don't get discouraged as you're trying to put the pieces together. It's a process. So it's a process of self-discovery. You hear people say, "I've gone on a journey of self-discovery," and I think for us, I feel like we are a bit privileged because we are still young. We are still energetic, and we are saying, okay, we want to put our lives in order, all right? Yeah. Others realize when they're 50, 60, they say, I did it, by the time would have been, it would be like you had lost some years, all right? But it's never too late to discover who you are, because immediately you have discovered who you are, that's when you start the joy of living. Like I said, you're trying to be Jordan when you're Ronaldo. Yeah. If Ronaldo tried to be Jordan, we would have missed out on the Cristiano. Yeah. We don't have Cristiano today. So when you identify yourself, you give yourself fully to society, and you start to live a life of fulfillment, because you're now not living, you don't have to be someone else when you leave the door, and someone else when you come back, someone else when you're in Osaka, someone else when you're in Kitu. There's just this unison about you. So a process of self-discovery is like a journey. Okay. And it's an endless journey to some, but it's like when you're trying to get excellence, to achieve excellence, it's not a one-day thing. Yeah. All right, you can't just to become takes time. Yeah. Right? It takes time and hard work as well. So it's a process, and I think it has been an honor being here. Men with pure intention.
We appreciate you.
I think it has been. Yeah, it has been a learning process for me as well. I think I've carried on.
You're very elaborate. We've learned a lot. I'm sure Richard too would say the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my last words to who you are is basically, like the guys have said, find you, right? Find what works for you. And how do you know what works for you? You know what works for you outside what everybody's doing. If you can identify that you love apples, if everybody loves oranges, then maybe apples are what you are, and so leave on that and build that. So follow us on our Twitter page as what? The director, shout out to Mr. Ian. What's our Twitter?
It's Men with Pure Intentions.
Men with Pure Intentions.
I almost forgot. I almost forgot because I think
come to the prom, by the way.
And the challenge, I think there's a challenge. I think I put it in the group. I think Okwemi saw it.
Yeah, sorry.
I think it's in line with the topic as well. Yeah. There's a book.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, The Power and Purpose of Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's this 30-day challenge. I think it's an extension. This is an extension, the invitation to all men. Yeah, to read that book, and then we'll review it in 30 days. Okay. So it starts tomorrow. Yeah, join us.
I think I saw the book in there.
Yeah, so the book is in the group. If you need the book, you
just comment down then we can send it to you.
Yeah. So it's a 30-day challenge, and then we'll get to discuss it and see if we can find meaning in a life that is troubled.
Leaders must read it.
Yeah.
And so you cannot be a leader if you cannot
read. Follow us on our YouTube page. That's Men with Pure Intentions on our Instagram podcast.
Yeah, Men with Pure
Intentions podcast. On our Instagram too with the same name. And just feel free to comment and tell us what you think, what you feel we need to discuss on here, so we can bring it on. And tell us what you feel about the podcast, and Mr. Okwemi will tell you where you can find him, and if you feel like texting him, that's where you can find him.
All right, so the Facebook page Okwemi, I think on Twitter at Okwemi, YouTube Okwemi Edward. I think we can interact in those social spaces.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been a great topic.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a great topic. I don't think we need to tell you where me and Richard are. You'll find us here every day.